Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Navstar. Today we are reviewing the CNHL Bison STOL. This is an awesome scale STOL plane, perfectly suited and designed for FPV. We're going to take a look at her handling with the Maiden and how she achieved the goal of a nice scale FPV flyer, something I've always wanted. So let's get right into the Maiden. We'll talk about the build and some of the hang-ups I had with it, but you know, this is where the rubber meets the tarmac, so to speak, so let's go ahead and get right to it. Now, I did make a mistake with takeoff. I did not leave adequate elevator to keep that rear wheel down on the tarmac and the runway, but we dealt with it and got off. Lesson learned. Right out of the box, she flew really well. This is an inherently well-balanced aircraft, so I wouldn't have expected anything else. But, you know, I looked at a lot of the old videos for the previous iteration of this plane and was a little concerned I may have some trouble with it. But CNHL did what they did with the Tucano, and they took a decent plane and made it better. We'll talk about the improvements later. But very, very pleased with its handling. Now, you're not going to get knife edges and hammerhead stalls from me. I like cruising around in scale, so that's what this is mostly about. I did do a couple of loops and rolls just to see how she would perform, but I really enjoy cruising around with a high wing, lots of good visibility in the cockpit. And one of the things CNHL did was to provide some very clear cockpit plastic. You'll have to excuse some of the smudges on here. I didn't quite clean it enough, but man, was I impressed. I did a couple of iterations of location of the FPV equipment, ended up moving it forward and elevated it some, and I plan on doing a lot more FPV work with this. But she flew really, really well. You know, we did multiple low passes with and without flaps, some steep STOL approaches, landing on grass, landing on the runway, and all in all, it feels really planted and predictable. High wing, big wing area. It did not come with the slats. That was something that the previous version had. It only came with the vortex generators, which is fine by me. But I think they may want to look into the documentation with this aircraft. Maybe mine didn't come with it, or it wasn't provided, but nonetheless, I found it to be a non-issue. And some minor aerobatics to go along with it today, but I just wanted a proof of concept how well this thing did with FPV. She's got some really big tires on there. They're pneumatic, and I haven't flown with pneumatic tires before, and I learned a few things, especially with the way in which I rolled out at the end of my landings. I need to keep it straight because she does tend to tip over a little bit. But this is a view from the starboard side. Yeah, I have some more wiring discipline to attend to. You'll also notice the push rods on the flaps are not what came with the aircraft. I did make some mistakes on the build that put me in a position that I would have to fix that, and that's what I ended up with. So not a fault of the aircraft, that was a fault of the builder. Very impressed with its ability to land. The aircraft eats it up, both grass and runway, but at the end of the day, you know, even a relatively inexperienced pilot will be able to take off and land just about anywhere with this aircraft. This is an issue I ran into. My video system was overheating. Love the wind the drops of water on the windshield. I'd like to take this up in the rain if it won't destroy my motor. But anyways, not a lot of airflow in there. You may have noticed that there's some wind scoops put on either side of the canopy. They did seem to work barely. So I'm going to have to put a fan in there. I wanted to try everything before I put a fan on this, just kind of make it scale. But she didn't physically overheat. I just got the alarm for it, though, so I know it was real close to tripping out on temperature. On my initial flight, without the air scoops, I really couldn't get any significant time in the air because the DJI VTX unit is a real heat sink. But I added a heat dissipation unit on the top of it, as well as the air scoops. Seemed to just barely keep it alive, but I'd like to have a little more time before it overheats in there. But would you just look at this? This is super cool. You'll see the avionics displayed. That's what I see when I'm flying, but I can also get the footage right out of the DJI unit directly, which is a little higher quality. And I use both in this so you can see what it looks like. A little touch and go there. So the power system on this is very good. It's a 50-55 motor with a 6S battery. It's strong, but it's not crazy. I did find a little bit of vibration in there. My prop is perfectly balanced, so I'm not exactly sure what that was. It may be the spinner, so I have a little bit more work to do with that. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really anything major. It did give us a little bit of jelly in the video, but I do want to get to work on taking that vibration out somehow. There's another shot coming in for a landing. If you like bush planes, STOL flying, you want a big FPV platform, this plane is for you. I really like it. I like it better than the last STOL plane I had. You guys have seen those reviews. Anyhow, packaged pretty good. I didn't see any damage on there. Largely assembled and pre-wired, ready to go. Make sure you check the bottom of the box for parts. Don't chuck it before you look there. Nice connections for the wing roots. You can take the wings on and off pretty easily. The wiring is all pre-assembled, and lots of room for creativity on how you want to hide those. I really like that large open space. There's a lot I can do there. And again, a very clear cockpit. Thank you, CNHL. 80 amp ESC with a BEC. Can handle anywhere from 2 to 6 LiPo. Of course, you wouldn't want to fly on anything less than 4S. I haven't tried that. I may do so. But the BEC is very helpful. It's a 5-volt output. And they very kindly stitched together the servo leads. So really just plug and play on that. We flew with a Radiomaster Nexus XR flight controller, which I felt was a perfect solution for this. Everything is almost plug and play, which was really nice to have, and we can go over that in detail later. This is the platform for the FPV equipment. Had to move that forward slightly, and that's the bay for the flight controller in the rear of the aircraft. Very easy to get to, very easy to access your wiring. Big beefy flaps. Nice root connection for the vertical stabilizer, and really solid Metal Gear servos. So do make sure you test them, make sure everything's in neutral. Very beefy gear. Really like the setup. Solid, real solid connections for your servos. On the tail wheel, I felt that it could use a little stiffening up, so I wrapped some copper tape around the springs, and that seemed to do the trick. There were some concerns about it not having enough authority, but I found it to be fine, and plenty of room for a 5,000 milliamp hour 70C CNHL 6S. The inflated tires were easy to put on, basically just pop them on and screw it in. And application of the screws to the wing roots, everything lined up and fitted perfectly. The struts were a little bit off. I had to swap those around. Took a couple seconds, wasn't really lined up perfectly. And here's a nice shot of the air scoops for my VTX unit. All in all, an easy build, but I did make a mistake on the flaps and I over torqued them and I had to replace them myself. But hey, just chalk that up to my problem, not theirs. A really great aircraft. I am looking forward to a lot of scale takeoff and landings with this. Might even try some auto landings. But paired with the CNHL batteries, it's a real win. I'm becoming a real fan of what CNHL is putting out there for power systems, and I can't recommend them highly enough. So the CNHL Bison XT, an awesome aircraft. Love the look. Love flying it. Anyhow, it's been kindly provided by CNHL for review. Thank you very much. If you have any questions about the build or how it flew, please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to talk. Take care. Have a great day no matter what.